You know, there's a saying that if you ask for the universe to give it to you, it will. The first thing I did when I came to Japan in 2004 was to tackle attention. Okay, best way, tension that I've had all my life until I solved it in 2004. That tension was religion. Okay, I don't understand, and I didn't understand. I do now, but I didn't understand at the time. How could there be so many people who believe in something that is so different than everyone else's, and that only theirs is right, right? So everyone else is going to hell except for me. Why would, if there was such thing as a God, right? Why would he play such a farce? That was my tension, and I set out to solve that tension. I did solve that tension, for me anyway, and I developed a metaphysics. I'm not religious. I wouldn't even say I'm spiritual. Okay, I wouldn't call myself spiritual. I have a metaphysics, which is a universal outlook on why we're here. That's a metaphysics. A metaphysics isn't a religion. A religion is a practice that you follow because it's an indoctrination. A spirituality is a sense of feeling that you have. A metaphysics is an understanding, right? So I have a metaphysics, and my metaphysics that I called is distributive unconsciousness. Do. So distributive unconsciousness, do, is the idea that there is an instantaneous information exchange on a quantum scale in all things. That's all. That's basically it. Now, this information exchange we know exists because of things like supersymmetry and quantum theory, quantum teleportation, and all these things violate the speed of light, speed of data, right? They have tests that show that with supersymmetry, if two things were across the universe, when one moved, the other would move instantaneously. And that violates Einstein's thing that no data can move faster than the speed of light. In quantum mechanics, it can. So what I simply said was that what if that isn't unique, and that is just kind of like that's something we can spot, but actually that exchange in everything. And in essence, what it says, if I want to kind of say it in a different way, is we are the Big Bang. The Big Bang, when everything was a near singularity, everything was one thing. That one thing still exists. This illusion of space is just that illusion of space. On a quantum scale, everything is there is no time. Everything is kind of frozen. It moves. Things blip in and blip out, and we don't know where it goes and where it comes in. And that's just the nature of things. Well, why do I say all this? Well, because I have always had a really strange experience of things happening to me that are too strange to explain, right? I will need someone and that person will show up, for example. I will want something and that thing will show itself, right? I've been fortunate that way, and it's even got freakier. You know, I could be, you know, one time I was doing a grant for the Southern Shakespeare Festival. It was 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I was at Kenko's trying to get these grants that were due the next day. It was Friday morning, 2 in the morning. I was like, man, I need someone to read over these grants. And I was like, hey man, can you, like, do you have any know anything about grants? He goes, yeah, I'm a grant writer. 2 in the morning in Kinko's in Tallahassee, and only other person in the shop. And I was like, man, could you just look over this really quick to see if I messed up anything? And he did. He corrected some things. Like, you want to fix this? This looks good. He says it looks pretty good. But that was kind of one of those weird things. And what I'm getting at is today, I had a dream. Well, the other day I made a video about a dream about a woman. It wasn't that kind of dream. So we finally met. And we had an amazing 2-hour conversation, an hour and a half, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, talking about everything. And she's like, I'm on board. and she has PhD. She's done 6 conferences. She has she knows a ton of people, and she's going to co-produce Found Up Fest. And I've invited her also to be the CEO of Found Up's Capital, because I don't want to be the CEO. I am the CEO. I'm the Chief Evangelist Officer. She can be the Chief Executive Officer. She teaches, entrepreneurship. She's got a book coming out, and we discussed actually putting the IBO, because it's going to be all about raising money. So this is something new coming out in 2019. So she's going to basically do the white paper. We're going to publish the white paper, an actual book, in her book that's coming out next couple of months. And that's really cool, because then it means that we can patent it, right? We have a year to patent it, because it's recognized and we plan to patent the IBO, register it, and everything else, and we plan to provide a way for folks to raise money for their a legal way that doesn't violate the SEC in the United States, and I'm willing to bet my jail time on it that it's right, because I'm pretty positive. And the thing is if I have to be Mandela and go to jail for the blockchain for the American people, go 5 years in jail because I do an IBO and the SEC says it's illegal, and I'm going to say no, it's not. You're full of shit, and we're going to put 50% of our funds that we raise. So, even if you're not going to go to the festival, you should buy a block ticket, because that block ticket ultimately is good for 2 years. So maybe you don't go next year, but you want to go for 2020. It's good for 2020. And the price of the block ticket for 2020 may be 1 to 5, not 1 to 1, as it is this year. So your opportunity to use them would be obviously beneficial, and also in case I need it for my legal expense. But yeah, so I have she's gonna be like the MC. I mean, there's gonna be some other players that we come on, but it's just one of those things where it's kind of like when I did Shakespeare Festival all over again. It's like this deja vu experience I'm feeling, with everything falling in place. The folks I've met in the past coming back, making this happen. It's finally, I thought, it's funny because I was excited, I was hyper excited in 2016. I'm kind of like centered excited now about all this in this doing. And it's that whole proverb of the 2 bulls at the top of the hill looking down, and the ICO bull and the young ICO bull. Hey, let's run down and do an ICO quick. Look, she's beautiful. Let's go down and do that icy bull cow. And the old bull looks down and says, no. Let's hold your horses. Let all these people run and do their ICOs, because we're gonna walk down and ICO them all, my friend. We're gonna ICO them all with an IBO. So that's what we're gonna do. So and what people don't realize is, they think ICO markets are big now, right? With only, I don't know what percentage of people are getting into ICOs. Only 2% of the population are getting into ICOs. How do I know that? Less than 2%, because there's only 2% of the population with wallets. Imagine if you've got 10% of the population with wallets. Imagine if, that's not even early, that's barely early adoption. That'd be early adoption. So imagine when 10% of the population has it. Imagine the size of money you're going to raise. All these people racing to raise money now. Imagine what it's going to be in a year or 2 from now. In 2020, we're launching in 2020. Why would I want to launch it's 2019 or 2018. Why would I want to do an ICO now when I could launch on 2020? 2020. That just makes sense to me, right? So, anyway, I just feel like we've got one step closer. And, it's, the universe is responding and answering my call. Undaodu. Undaodu. Now you know where the do comes from. Undaodu.